two more stuff that we need to focus: not so stubby area and totally not so stubby area. These two are not complicated, but people feel as if it is complicated. It is not. You see, what happens, when we configure this as not so stubby area, four and five LSA types are denied coming in. But we also have ASBR here. We redistribute from RIP to OSPF and back to OSPF to RIP. So we call it as ASBR. What will happen if type 5 from outside is denied? What about the type 5 that usually generates from ASBR? Usually every ASBR will generate type 5. What happens to R3's type 5? That is also not allowed. Then what is the value of the redistribution that I did? What is the use of my configuration there? What happens to my configuration there? You want to redistribute so that the RIP routes will come in. That will come in. But earlier it was coming as type 5, but after you configure not so stubby area, now it is going to enter in as type 7. Earlier it was coming as what? Type 5. Now it is coming as what? Type 7. So R3 used to generate type 5 earlier, but now you have configured R3, 4, and 5 as not so stubby area. R3 says, I'm not going to generate type 5. If I generate, I will not be successful in distributing it. So let me generate type 7 instead of type 5. So the advertisement of these networks come here as type 7, goes here as type 7. And now when it crosses the boundary, when it crosses the border of that area, it is converted as type 5 and sent. So type 5 is coming both from router 8 as well as router 5. But this type 5 is the distribution of RIP routes which got distributed from type 7 to type 5, and that is taken care by router 5. But this is by birth it is type 5. By origin it is type 5. Whereas this one, which is coming from router 5 towards router 6, is originally type 7. When it crosses the border from NSSA to backbone, it will be automatically, without you doing any additional configuration, automatically it will be advertised to R6 as type 5. Let us now do and see this first. Then we will get into this, the other NSSA, totally not sustainability. So before I deploy this, do you have any question on this? Not so stubby area. You may ask now, Sheikh-ji, do you have any question? Anyone has got any question on not so stubby area?
No, sir.
Yes.
Okay, then let us go and do redistribution from RIP to OSPF on R3. R3, show IP route RIP. There is no route RIP. There is no, there is protocol RIP, but show IP route RIP. Unfortunately, I don't see any RIP. Show IP RIP summary, process, database. I don't see any routes coming from router 2. Let us verify whether RIP is running on router 2. Show IP interface brief. Good that we got IP address. Show IP protocol. Looks like OSPF is running. No. No router. OSPF 1. To show IP protocol. Good. There is no protocol. Enable RIP. Router RIP version 2. Node summary. Network 1. Network 23. I'm expecting now these routes from router 3, so router 2 to appear in router 3. Show IP router. It will come. Good. It will come. Let me try pinging 23002, which is the IP address of router. Unfortunately, I'm not able to ping. Maybe the interface F00 of router 3 is down. I don't need to verify because I know it. I did it in the previous class. See? I'm expecting the line protocols to. So that was the problem. Now let us verify this by typing show IP route RIP. It will come. See, it has come. We want to redistribute these routes into OSPF. Router OSPF1. Redistribute RIP summary, subnet. Likewise, what? The router is currently an ASBR while having only one area, which is the, oh, okay. You should not have ASBR on a stub area. The stub configuration that we did in the previous class need to be removed first. Router OSPF1, no area 1000 stub. Okay, now if I give you this redistribute command, it will accept. Likewise, let me also do the other side redistribution. Router RIP, redistribute OSPF1 metric 5 helps, something like that. Just need not to be accurate metric. Go to router 4 and remove the stub that you configured earlier. Router OSPF1, no area 1000 stub. Show IP OSPF. Okay, router 3 is a neighbor, but router 5 is not because router 5 still have that stub configuration in it. Router OSPF 1, no area 1000 stub, no summary. Alright, I'm expecting now the neighborship between 4 and 5. Show IP OSPF neighbor. Only 6 is a neighbor as of now. Did I do anything wrong? Show run section router OSPF. Suppose the stub is still there. See, the neighbor with router 4 has come. So what I am expecting in R5 is show IP OSPF database. I'm expecting type 5 coming from area 0 as well as see type 5. I'm learning from router 3 as well as from router 8. But type 5 is another type 3. Let us verify in router 4. You can see here I'm learning these networks from router 8. This is router 8's address. Router 8's router ID is that. I'm not learning from router 3. I want to know why. I'm learning it from 5. It is originally advertised by router 8. The redistributed network from router 5 is not coming. The metric is the problem. E2 is preferred over E1. Listen, E1 is preferred over E2. E1 is forwarding metric 20. Type is E2. How come? Show IP route OSPF. Okay, this is E2 only. So that's not a problem then. Why R3 is not advertising? Show run section router OSPF. Redistribute rape subnets. Oh no, look at this. This is the problem. The summarization. Router OSPF. Some class earlier, some long back we have done this. I removed now. Okay, let's go back now. If you check on R4, earlier it was showing 5 as the gateway, but now for E2 networks it will show even now it is showing 5. Okay, give some time. Shall I be route? It is still coming from 5 and soon change to 3. 23 it is going via 3 because the cost is 20. Oh no, this is the reason. For those routes coming from router 8 via router 5, the cost is very less. It is just 1. Let's see why. On router 8, when I redistribute, I have given some seed metric. Show run section router OSPF. Okay, this is BGP. This is BGP. Okay, now this is also good for us. See, it is copying the BGP's metric. BGP says it is one autonomous system. OSPF will always copy BGP. BGP will also use IGP cost. Fine, anyway, that is okay. It is good for us. What I want to show you now is, listen carefully, from now only the real story starts. You yourself saw that router 4, when I trace route to 1.1.1.1, it goes to router 9. It goes to router 9. But for router 4, you see, there is something very closer. Who can provide the same destination? Router 2 can provide the same destination. It is very closer to router 4. But router 4, instead of using router 2, router 4, instead of using this one, instead of using this, it is using this far away one, this one. This is what we are trying to solve by configuring area 1000 as not so stub area. Look at this. As soon as I configure area 1000 as not so stub area, this advertisement won't come in. It won't come in. Automatically router 4 will be switching to the local ISP instead of going via the remote ISP. Only in this scenario NSSA will fit. Let us do this. I'll start from router 3. Router OSPF 1, area 1000 is NSSA. That's all. This command you need to put it on all the routers in this area. Next. R4 or 3 after R4. Router OSPF 1, area 1000 is NSSA. Likewise on R5. Router OSPF 1, area 1000 is NSSA. All right. Now if you will see on R4, I'll go to R4 and trace route. Let us first trace route. See, this time it goes to router 2. Earlier it was going via router 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. The reason is, now you see N, because E is denied. E, even though the metric was only 1, He is denied to come in. He is denied to come in. So you got N2. And if you check the database here, show IP OSPF database, you will not see type 5. See, you see type 1, type 2, type 3, and yeah, funny. Come back. And if you see here, after type 3, what comes? Type 7 comes. So no type 4, no type 5. And there is no default route also given. The other two stuff that you learned, router 5 used to give a default route as type 3. But now here, you don't see that. Hope you get what I am showing. Okay, so if this fails, the dancing one, if this disappears, will R4 reach this one? No. Why? Because you don't have a default route. Now, if you want to bring default route, what we have to do is on R5, router OSPF 1, default information originate always. Default information originate will advertise a default route if you have in the routing table. But I don't have any default route in the routing table. So I'm saying always. Always mean even if you don't have a default route, even if R5 don't have a default route locally configured, it has to advertise it. Now let us go and check R4 database. Oh no, the default route will be advertised as type 5. So it won't come because type 5 is denied. If you go and check in R6, should IP see the default route is given here to R6. No. This doesn't solve the problem. So what we have to do, I'll cancel the default information originate always. Because default information originate always will advertise a default route as type 5 LSA. NSSA denies type 5. So what we can do is, if you want to keep it, it's okay. You write like this, IP route, any network, any subnet mask, send it to router 6. And now that always not needed, but what I'm expecting now is the 00 should disappear. But it's still there. Fine, the default information originate will not solve the problem for you in this scenario. So better remove this. Don't confuse R6. Router OSPF 1. Fine. So then how can I solve this problem? Let us try giving a default route. We have to somehow give it as type 3. We have to somehow give it as type 3 default route, LSA type 3. Let me try doing it in node 4. IP route. Send it to 10.45.0.5 router OSPF 1 default information originate. So this I'm not using always, so it will use this default route advertised to R3. That's what I'm expecting. Okay, R3 show IP OSPF database. Sorry. So I have to write default route manually, no other go. In this scenario, because default routes are type 5, in NSSA, you have to write manually the default routes. You cannot use information in it, but I'll just try putting always and see. There is a chance. No. So it's waste of time. Don't do this. You have to write default route on every router like this, pointing towards R5, so that if R2 fails, if RIP fails, you can use those default routes and go out. To solve this problem, the totally not so stub area is coming. Cisco has got a solution for this. You don't need to write default route on every router like this. If you switch to the next one called totally not so stub area. Let me remove these things which may confuse, which may hinder our outputs. Remove now. So there is no default route. Show IP route OSPF. You can see only the routes coming from router 3. There is no default route. Default information originate, you don't use it in this scenario if your area is not so stub area. Okay. Now what is the next one? Next one is listen carefully. I don't want to learn type 3 also. Already type 4 and 5 is not coming in. Now I don't want to have type 3. I don't want to have type 3. So what I'm going to do is one command only one command. I'll go to router 5. See, right now I don't have a default route. I showed you now. Show IP OSPF database. You see, there is no default route. There is no default route. The routing table also show IP route OSPF. There is no default route pointing towards router 5. There is no default route pointing towards router 5. What I'm going to do is just one command to make it totally not so stable. On the other two routers, that NSSA command should be there. Don't remove that. Only on R5 you add additionally one. Let me remove this. This should not confuse us any time later. Now only on router 1, router 5, I need to say area 1000 is NSSA. No summary. No summary means what? No type 3. So what you will see is a default route for other area as well as other autonomous system ASBR. Other area and other ASBRs, you'll have a default route given by R5, and R4 and R3 can use it as a backup if R2 fails. I want to show you that. R4, if you trace till it is going via router 3. But show IP route OSPF, you have a default LSA type 3 default route that is pointing towards router 5, which can be used as a backup if R3 fails. For example, I'm going to go and shut down one of this loopback in R2. In R2, show IP interface brief. This is what I was pinging earlier, 1111. I'm going to shut down this loopback. Please understand now very carefully, watch carefully. When I was tracing route earlier at 11111, it was going to router 2. But now it will go to router 9 using the default route. See, you got a backup. And if I bring that R2 R2 no shutdown. When I bring it back, it will fall back to the original primary path. Let's go and see that. Router 4. You see, back to the normal. And if you check the routing table, show IP route OSPF, you just got only N and O. O means local, same area, networks. N means coming from local ASBR type 7. For all other networks, meaning the other area networks as well as the other ASBR networks, you have to manage with this default route. If I try checking 88121, show IP route 88121, even though it's a OSPF's own network, you don't see it in the routing table because type 3 is denied. But when I trace route, it works due to the default route. So that's all about OSPF STUB concepts. Now, OSPF authentication and few more filtering, route filtering in OSPF, those things are left, which we'll see in next class. Any question on today's class?
Sir, when you are enabling no auto summary, no summary on the router 5, and it generates a default route. So it does mean that the trace is taking the route 5 path, right?
Yeah.
So that means that it is advertising the longest prefix match, right?
Yeah, because the longest prefix has gone down. On R2, I shut down the loopback. The longest prefix has gone down. The next option is, if there is no prefix, then it will check whether default route is available. It is using the default route.
Correct. Correct, sir.
And when you bring the interface back on router 2, then as you said, it checks the maximum prefix match, which is 1.1.1.1 matching, and it goes to router 2. Kindly go through the video if possible, the previous one and this one. And if you have any more questions, bring it to me tomorrow. Thanks for joining. Have a wonderful day.